Greetings, sentient beings. This video is not intended for children. It is likely to contain strong language and adult themes. So how's everybody doing tonight? Looks like it's just me now. So that picture that was on the thumbnail was actually one of mine. That was one of the feral cats that I had redomesticated in New York. Although him not so much so. And he had been living in the basement for close to 3 years and never really trusted anybody. So he'd finally reached the point that he would come up in the living room and he would lay on my computer desk when I wasn't there. But yeah, he never really let anybody get close to him. Sloth Girl's the only one who ever touched him. AT and Danish just got started. Although I don't know if there's anyone else here. So I was just talking about the kitty in the thumbnail was one of the ones that I had rehabilitated in New York. Hey, Pirate Kitty. Thanks for coming in.
Hello.
I'm not good at doing these things solo.
I know. I popped in and saw you didn't have anybody with you, so I figured I'd pop in.
You're kind of breaking up.
Oh. Any better?
Yeah, that's better.
It was just probably me loading in.
Hey, be mindful. Yeah, now that you're here, I've got to turn my speakers down.
Yeah, I had to mute the stream.
Yeah, StreamYards always comes on so much louder than YouTube does, so. So what's been going on with you?
Nothing. I've just been playing The Witcher. Game, since everybody's making a big deal about the movies or the TV show, whatever the heck it is.
Yeah.
I figured somebody gifted me The Witcher 2. And Steam had their winter sale. And they sold the first one for like $1.50. So I'm like, I guess I might as well pick it up.
Hell yeah, at that price. Can't go too far wrong.
Yeah, well, and there was another game on sale, so I bought that. And so I spent like $10 and got 2 games, so. Oops, I don't want to leave here. Yeah, I got this. Did you ever hear of the game Spore?
I think I heard somebody talk about it at one point, but never saw it myself.
It was basically this game where you started off as a single cell organism and you evolved your character, your character's species into a spacefaring race. So you started off as a cell and you could kind of shape your cell, and then you could choose like, did you have a proboscis, which meant that you could eat meat? Did you have flagella so you could swim fast? Stuff like that. And after eating so much, you'd get bigger, and then you could add other things like eyes and legs and whatever. And then you would progress the game to a stage where you were living as a dumb animal.
Yeah, sounds like it could be interesting.
Well, yeah, it was pretty fun. But I found this other game called Niche, and it was basically, it's called the genetic survival game, and it takes the idea that Spore had, which was evolving your characters to a slightly new level, where you have to breed pairs and you have to monitor their genetics to try and breed in the traits that you want. For example, I just started out, and so I'm trying to breed in this ability called Nimble Paws. And so every one of my little creatures has got a gene for Nimble Paw, and they've got a gene for Claws. And so I have to keep breeding them together until I get some that have just got 2 Nimble Paws. And then I start a breeding program so that everyone on the island has 2 Nimble Paws. But while doing that, I have to make sure and, monitor their immunity health so that they don't all become sickly from having inbreeding. And it's actually pretty difficult sometimes.
Hello.
Somebody else join chat?
Yeah, just a bunch of new people came in, so I guess ETC's video just finished. I was over there watching it until I had to start the stuff.
I was just gonna say, if you getting raided.
Yeah, he did one on his Dwarven Hammer did a response to the Who is Nacha video.
Who? Oh,
Yeah.
Dwarf. Oh, yeah. Sorry. You said hammer, and my mind immediately went to Surus.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm like, what? But yeah,
No.
I get it.
Got room in here if anyone else wants to come into chat. So anyway, you were saying you had problems with trying to get agile paws without inbreeding them.
Yeah, because like they have a whole genetic makeup, like feet type, hair type, color. But the important thing is there's immunities. And if you get one with the same immunity twice, if like you get an AA, it'll be sickly. And so you spend a lot of time breeding them and having to be careful that you don't end up with a whole generation of like with all the same immunity, because then you're basically breeding a race of sickly creatures. And it can get really difficult, because you breed like 7 times and you get 6 males and 1 female, and the 1 female that you get has the same genetics as every male. So then you get a bunch of sickly animals, and it can get really difficult, surprisingly. And it's a fairly simple game.
Just kind of roll of the dice things there, huh?
Yeah, that's I think the problem with it is it really does the whole randomness thing, but it doesn't do it very well. Because like I said, like I'll breed a guy that's got AB and a girl that's got CD, and all of the children will be up AD, like every one of them. And it's like there should be more diversity there, you know. But
Yeah, so it seems kind of slanted. That's weighting the lower numbers more than the higher ones.
or something is weighting it weird. So like I'll get to the point where I've got the physical traits that I want, but the immunity is so poor that they're just constantly getting sick. And I'm sitting here going, no, stop. Don't die.
I've got a board game called Evolution.
Uh
I've played it a couple of times, but I still don't quite understand it yet.
huh. Yeah. I've started this over a couple of times because I just want to try and get the hang of it. But yeah, it's cute too, because you can like kind of make the little creatures, like you can you can encourage mutations and make them all turn black. And then you can put like spots or zebra stripes on them. But I haven't gotten far enough into the game to be able to mess with that part. I'm just trying to keep their immunities varied enough so that they're not sick all the time.
Yeah. So where'd you download that one from?
Steam. Yeah, I do most everything game related on Steam nowadays.
I had never used Steam before, so I got an account there just a couple of weeks ago.
Oh yeah?
And I downloaded a pack of the party games. I've got to figure out, how to set those up to run under StreamYards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But that's
mm-hmm.
yeah, they that Quiplash that Math Pig likes so well.
Oh yeah.
So I found a pack of like 5 party games, and that one was included.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My nephew uses Steam a lot. He's real heavy in the video games.
Mm-hmm. Oh, don't touch him. Yeah, I have lots of stuff on Steam. Well, not a lot. I've got 38 games, half of which I haven't played in ages.
Yeah, for a large part, I tend to avoid video games just because
Mm-hmm.
they, are such tremendous time sinks.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, I've got enough ways to procrastinate as it is.
The thing is that if you do get games, you need to get games that are not um, open-ended, I guess. Like I could see you enjoying Portal. Portal is a puzzle game.
Yeah, it depends. I do like the classic arcade games. There's,
Mm-hmm.
especially some of the older ones I would like to get if I could find some, find working versions of them somewhere.
Like, what do you mean? Like, what kind of arcade game? Or do you have a specific one in mind that you could think of?
Well, the only specific one I can think of, well, a couple of them that I haven't found, is the whole Lemmings series. Have you ever played that?
I actually have a disc somewhere for a Lemmings game.
Okay. They wound up with a couple of sequels, so I think there were 4 or 5 of them altogether.
Yeah. Somebody shared a website with me that lets you play older games, but I
Yeah,
can't remember what it's called.
because I haven't played that since I had an Atari ST.
I played it on the PC.
I know it had come out for the PC, but I've never been able to find a working copy. I've downloaded it from like 4 different sites, and it never ran properly.
Let me see. Computer, do your thing. There we go.
Yeah. And then there was an old arcade game. Oh, hey, Dick Dawson. Hi. There was an old
Okay.
arcade game called Trog that it was kind of a Pac-Man type thing that you were a caveman, running around the board, picking up whatever the things were.
That sounds
You know,
vaguely familiar.
yeah, you had to clear the board, and there was a dinosaur that would come after you, but if you ate the pineapples, then it turned into a different dinosaur, and you could go club it. And the graphics were done to make it look like claymation figures.
Gotcha.
So yeah, about the only thing I've got loaded on this computer is I got Zuma. which is an arcade game that you've got this frog spitting billiard balls.
Hmm.
But I've I've only got the basic version, and it's like the PopCap games went away, so you can't even buy the full version anymore. So it's I've
Oh
got
yeah,
like the trial version that I can only play like the first five boards, which kind of sucks that I can't get beyond that and play all the boards. So somewhere somebody's got to like have an archive of those PopCap games somewhere that should be able to get a working version of those.
hmm. So try. No, that's a jump. Hmm. Okay, this isn't what I thought it was.
Well, if you find the link later, you can always send it to me on Twitter. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Oh, yuck. So don't know if it merits to anyone in here because I don't think anybody here works a normal schedule, but it's supposed to be a long weekend. It's Monday's Martin Luther King Day.
Oh, that's right. That's I so. I always forget about holidays. Working retail, it's
Yeah. Well, I'm self-employed, so they generally don't mean too much to me either. Okay, you want me to share this?
yeah. Go ahead. I don't think I shared sound. I hope.
Yep.
This is a. Oh wow, the sound is really
Okay.
loud.
Well, we're not hearing the sound.
Yeah, I know, but I'm getting
Actually, I'm
no.
hearing a little bit of it now. Must be your
Yeah,
microphone picking it up.
yeah.
Okay, so do you have a site where I can download that?
Oh man, I gotta. Ooh. It's just playclassic.games. Like you see here. You remember the Oregon Trail?
Mm-hmm.
I saw Prince of Persia in here. Old Diablo, the original Civilization,
Ooh, I liked that too.
Wolfenstein 3D. Oh, there's Prince of Persia. It's a little bit difficult to play sometimes because of Dungeon Keeper. Oh wow, I remember that one. Um, it's a little bit difficult to play sometimes because of the controls, but once you get past it, it might be something to consider. That'll let you play some of those old games without having to buy them.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I found that site because I was trying to play um, old Ultima games. I don't know if you remember those. Uh,
Yeah, but I got the website here now and
hmm.
just kind of going through the list. Yeah, some of them I recognize. Well, it says the list is 73 pages, so they must have quite a lot there.
Hmm.
Cool. Well, that'll be fun.
Yeah. Somebody showed me to another site where you can buy old games. Um, I know, like one of my old favorite series of video games, um, was the King's Quest series.
Mm-hmm.
Not King's Quest, the Quest for Glory series. Oh, that's better. I turned the game sound down. Um, and they have that on Steam, but because it's an old DOS game, it just doesn't translate into modern PC very well.
Yep. A golden axe. Yeah, I see a couple of them here that Sloth Girl had one of the Sega Genesis consoles when they were big. So I see several games off of that here.
Mm.
Neat. Oh, okay. So,
Buttons. Mm. So what
well,
you been
not
up
too
to?
many. Huh?
What you been up to?
Well, this be the first public announcement of it, but actually have a prospect of getting back to Minnesota,
Oh yeah.
although I may need some help with that.
Oh.
Well, it seems like we've, found apartments can afford,
Mm-hmm.
but since I had that episode of not getting paid for a bunch of the work I did,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of depleted my savings, and I don't really have money for a moving fund
Oy.
because I had stashed $5,000 away to be prepared for this, and that pretty much all got eaten up.
Yikes.
But basically, she didn't send us the leases yet, but we've been promised we could move in for March 1st.
Mm.
And that would finally get me out of this little town, which would definitely be much healthier for me in several ways.
Yeah. Whereabouts in
Because
Minnesota?
St. Cloud.
Oh.
So, I would have preferred St. Paul. St. Cloud's about an hour and a half, 2 hours out of the Twin Cities.
Mm-hmm.
So, still close enough that I could still get together with friends I have there.
Yeah.
And, St. Cloud itself it's a big enough city that it has everything I need. At least I'd be back to having things like a 24-hour grocery store.
Oh yeah, that's an improvement.
Yeah. Um, and it also has a university campus,
Mm-hmm.
so like I say, pretty decent size. But I would not have this tiny little town driving me crazy, and then I could
Mm-hmm.
also be more open about being myself there.
Yeah, that would definitely be good.
Yeah, because this place, I'm generally very bored and generally very stressed out.
Mm-hmm.
And like my alcohol consumption since I moved here has gone up by magnitudes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's
I mean,
something I've heard about. Basically the only thing. I used to live in an area. I spent, oh, how long was it? A few months. Um, no, it was half a year actually. Um, living on an Indian reservation, and like most people would be like, there was nothing to do in the town except drink, and that was it. So like everybody was constantly drunk.
that's pretty much it here too. And it's a little better for Sloth Girl because she goes. There's a couple of bars that like do karaoke, and
Karaoke.
okay, so I'm mispronouncing it again.
Oh, I thought you did it on purpose. I'm sorry, I didn't. I thought it was pronounced karaoke.
Yeah, I think you're right, but anyway,
I mean, I knew what you meant.
yeah, but she's because she's got a good voice. She's something of a local celebrity here. So, but
Yeah.
I can't stand the crowd or the noise level for bars.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of bars either.
Yeah, but that's pretty much after 6 o'clock in the evening. The bars are about the only thing open around here.
Hmm. The only thing that can get me out to a bar is bar food. Like I like the food, but you know, very rarely can I afford that.
Yeah. Well, they got some good stuff at one of the bars here, at least.
Hmm.
But yeah, you know, I go in there with her sometimes just to kind of support her.
Hmm.
Hey, Jenny.
Howdy do?
Have you ever
Hi.
thought?
No, I've never thought ever.
Then you should
Not-
be living here.
I was gonna
I'm
say, like, have you ever thought of trying um, earplugs so that um, wow, my brain.
what
Um,
is it? I really disrupted you.
just taking earplugs so that you can sit there, and I mean, given how loud I remember bars being,
Yeah,
you know, you'd at least have something to
I guess that would help, but it's
muffle
like,
the noises some.
yeah, if I can't carry on a conversation, there's not really much point in going, is there?
Right, that's true.
Now, see, Hans, that's my problem is I think too much to live here. I've actually had mental health workers tell me that this is a mentally unhealthy situation for me, and I should try not to think about things so much, and that would probably make it better.
Well, that's one of those things. Um, this game is ridiculous.
So, Jenny, you came in right after I was making the announcement that I've actually found some apartments we can afford in St. Cloud, Minnesota.
Oh, no kidding.
So, yeah, that's she hasn't sent us the leases to sign yet, but that we could move for March 1st. But unfortunately, now I'm in a situation that the money I had saved up for a moving fund got depleted.
Well, I think that would be an admirable thing to set up a GoFundMe for.
Yeah, that's, I think I'm going to have to ask people for help for the moving expenses. But,
I can pitch in about $3 or $4. No.
well,
if we time if we
I know
time
a
this
lot of
right, I can.
people are about as broke as I am, so I don't want anybody, you know, putting themselves out for it.
Well, I'll pitch in whatever I can.
You know, a little bit of
Absolutely, I
gas money
will.
would help.
We want to get you to good good medical care.
Yeah. Well, for me, the medical care hasn't been too much of a problem, but I don't have anything that's life threatening. It's a lot more of an issue for Sloth Girl,
Hmm.
especially since she has the MS, which is going to be progressing. You know, it's just undeniable that it's going to gradually get worse as the years go on.
Are you looking for separate apartments or together?
Well, separate apartments in the same building. We really can't live together. We would drive each other crazy.
Well, that's actually better in terms of getting qualified for the Minnesota Care uh, program.
Yeah, I suppose it would probably change a lot of things in that regard too. I hadn't really thought about that part of it.
I really want to see you get on it because I know that it how good it is. It covers so fucking much stuff, and you're young enough that you're going to be able to take care of a lot of messes in your life with it. Um, I was only on it for about a year and a half, 2 years,
Yeah, well,
um,
I've got a
and then I
bunch
hit
of
65.
fairly minor problems that pretty much most of them can be kept at a manageable level with medication.
Hmm.
And as long as I can get the medications, I can still work part time at least.
I think the um, dollar figure for qualifying is like 14.5.
Yeah, well, I lived in Minnesota like 10 years ago. It's just a matter of how much it's changed since then.
Yeah, well, that's the latest number I remember, and I was only making 7,000 a year, so I kind of qualified.
Thanks, Doc. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm have to figure out some way to get there because it's definitely going to be better for me than being here.
Well, that's neat. I mean, then you'll only be 150 miles away.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure how far it was to Rochester. I was guessing it was about 2 hours or so.
No, no. Remember, I'm in southeast.
Yeah, I know you're the other
Think
side
more
of Rochester from that.
yeah,
Yeah,
think more of Winona,
yeah,
um, Lacrosse, that stuff. But I've taken the River Road many times to Minneapolis, so I don't even know how to get there. Which would be cool. I'd love to meet you.
yep, yeah. Definitely, we'll be able to get together once in a while once I'm there. Oh, actually, I was going to ask you if you would be interested in an old computer.
Yeah.
And I mean it's like it's more than 10 years old, but as far as I know, if you put a hard drive in it, it should be functional.
Well, hard drives are quite affordable. I could probably, well, I'll have to do some research because I know very little about PCs. I would think I could probably put in an SSD.
Yeah, well, I didn't know if you'd be interested in one that's that old, and I don't like to
I
call
don't.
it obsolete because if it's functional, you can still get online with it. It's just, it's not going to be very fast compared to what's out today.
Well, it's faster than none. So,
Okay. Well, okay, then I'll get that to you.
all right, we'll figure that out.
Yeah, well, that's, I was just wondering if I should even bring it with me or if I should just get it recycled. But if you think you can use it, I'll bring it.
Do you know what processor's in it?
Probably like a Pentium 4.
Oh, that old.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh. That means the motherboard is that old too. That's not going to be upgradable to anything current.
No. Yeah, that's
Mm. It would.
basically it had reached its limit on how far it could be upgraded, and
Um.
that's why
Is it like?
I
Is it
had to
like a
get the one I have
home built?
now about 2.5 years ago just to be able to do anything with the video editing.
Okay, that answers my question. Then no, I think I should probably pass.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I thought.
'Cause that's what I need to do is video work and
Yeah,
the
that
occasional
one,
game.
the processor would be awfully slow for that. So, it was good enough to get online and be watching YouTube and that, but for actually making any content, I think it would be pretty limited.
It might be
Yeah.
worth it just from that aspect. Being able to get online and
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking, that you could watch videos and you could probably get into the chats with it. But yeah, that one was only running some version of Windows 7.
Does it have what am I the keyboard and stuff with it, or it's just the CPU box?
I could come up with the other stuff. I'm sure I've still got an extra keyboard here somewhere. Keyboard and mouse and the basics.
Because I was thinking, I'm going to have to get those things too, and those, who cares as long as they work. Um,
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
need
that
anything fancy.
for you, Sloth Girl got me a new keyboard, so I've got the backlit keyboard. So,
Cool.
the one I was using up till a couple of months ago is just wrapped up on the shelf there.
Yeah, I really got to get serious about putting together a PC. I
Yeah, well,
I've been
obviously,
without a
if you
computer
don't
for a
have the
couple
money
of
for it.
years. Yeah, but I mean, just my whole creative self has been completely eliminated because I don't have a workstation anymore. um,
Yeah,
I,
well,
I have
that's
this.
the.
I have a killer Mac that's in storage at my nephew's place, but it's been having before I packed it away. It was having a massive crashing problem because something I fucked up when I was upgrading it. It's completely my fault, and I was going to have to repair that to get that thing working. But that thing had 4 fucking terabytes of disk space and 32 gig of RAM, and that was a killer workstation for video stuff.
Yeah.
I really would like to have it again.
Well, even the one I have now is an older workstation. It was a refurbished one when I bought it, so it's probably going on close to 5 years since it was made. But I was able
Yeah.
to get some extra memory in it, so it's not doing too bad now. It's got like an i5 quad core.
Those are pretty decent. People use those for gaming and stuff.
Yeah, well, that's, I was able to pick it up cheap because it was refurbished and figured it was something that would work and that it had some room for me upgrading. It came with a 2 terabyte drive, which crashed about 6 months after I got it.
Oof.
So now I've only have a half a terabyte drive in it. So that's something on my Amazon wish list, but
If I was putting together a PC nowadays, I would go with an SSD for, like a 200 gig, 250, maybe even 500 gig SSD for the main disk, and then I'd stick in like a 1 terabyte um, hard drive for data and other junk. Run it
yeah,
that way.
it is amazing how much the drives have come down.
Yeah, isn't it?
Whenever I need
Every
it,
time I go ahead, Kitty.
I was gonna say every time my computer needs an upgrade, I just tell my boyfriend, and he says, "Okay, in order to upgrade, you need to give me X amount of money," and then I save the money and give it to him, and he buys the part and puts it in.
It's nice that you got somebody who can do that for you.
Yeah.
Hamable, are you living without electricity? Oh, it's crazy kitty time again. He's back up on top of the kitchen cabinets. I mean, the high cabinets. He's up where he's brushing his head on the ceiling. Probably chasing a fruit fly or something I can't see.
I hate fruit flies.
Most annoying things in existence.
Nah, they're not nearly as bad as mosquitoes.
Yeah,
At
but
least, at least the fruit flies are silent.
mm, you don't tend to have mosquitoes in your house landing in your coffee. Your last cup of coffee that you have to wait 3 days before you can get any more. You know that really pisses me off.
Oh, see now you said coffee. Now I want some.
Yeah, there
I'm
is
I'm
that. Although, yeah, that's I tend to
I'm
always keep
trying
a
to
lid
quit.
on my cups anyway.
I'm trying to quit smoking right now,
Mm,
Mm.
that's a tough one.
and yeah, but I got to do it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've
I've
never
been
had to
ta-
deal with it myself, but I've lived with a couple of people while they were quitting.
I've been taking I'm a Wellbutrin,
Hmm.
and when that first came out, they found that it was helping people quit smoking.
Hmm.
Um, there's that other thing that they have today now. Was the TV commercial with that stupid turkey on it? I can't remember the name of the drug. Whatever. But I've been taking this Wellbutrin, which is an antidepressant, for a couple months now, and I'm finding myself not having urges to smoke. I still want to because I like it, but I don't have the Nick Fit kind of urge as I choke
Yeah,
on
they
my
put me on the
phlegm here.
Wellbutrin for a while too, but it didn't really work for me. Um, for that, I my fiance finally quit smoking when I was with her, and for that hack and cough, she introduced me to using lobelia. Which is it's one of the natural remedies, but it actually does work for suppressing that dry cough.
Mm.
So when Nacho
Jeepers.
said he was quitting, I sent him a bottle of that. But haven't really heard any updates on that, so I don't know how successful he was with it or if he went back to it.
I just looked at my Twitter page. I got 611 followers. When the hell did that happen?
Cool. I'm sure that's more than I've got.
Oh, okay, I get it. Gee, if somebody has a name, and then a whole bunch of numbers after it, that's usually a bullshit account, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think from the United Emirates.
Oh, yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, it sounds like a phishing scam. Yeah, I do general handyman work, all sorts of home repair.
Mm-hmm.
So just Hammable in the side chat. That's, I can do electrical work. I'm not licensed for it, but I can do it. Oh, so
Oh, oh.
yeah, apparently Faithless Pheasant is back online. Twitter had suspended him for a while. I'm not sure what the reasoning was.
Eh.
I just got followed by this woman I've had a crush on for months.
Oh,
She's in England, so nothing will ever come of it.
He probably is he back on his main account?
yeah, he
Oh,
was posting in Neil's group on his main account again.
it's probably. I mean, if I had to wager a guess, it was probably that he got into an argument with somebody, and they went back and looked at his old tweets to find something to report.
I expect it was something like that. I don't know if he was suspended for like 3 days or a week that he was posting under a different account.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Hammable, I get that, but like I say, that's what had kept me from moving back to Minnesota before now was finding rent I could afford. And Hans, yeah, I've for some reason I've had a bunch of new followers that turned out to be Christian too. So I don't know if maybe they've been like checking atheist lists to find us or what. Hey, Watchtower. I was chatting with Watchtower in the side chat of MathPig's stream earlier tonight. They were saying they could teach me how to identify mushrooms so I'd know which ones around here were the fun ones. I see so many varieties growing on the fringe of the forest around here, and it's like if I just knew which ones, I could collect baskets of them in the spring. But you gotta know which ones are fun and which ones are gonna kill you.
Yeah, it's not something I'd ever mess with.
Yeah, well, that's why I haven't seriously followed it up, because it's like you can get books with the pictures in that, but some of them look pretty similar.
Yeah, there's like the difference is the color of the underside or something.
Yeah. Yeah, the false morel is one of the ones I've heard about.
Oh, they're easy to tell apart from real morels.
Well, I'd never find any, I mean, Every week I'm told atheists have no morals.
Oh, that sucks. Oh, I love morels. They're so tasty.
Yeah, and that's, I'm sure there's some of those too that are just, ones that would be good for cooking, but
In
again, you gotta know which is which.
when I was living in Milwaukee, my next door neighbor actually had morels spontaneously erupt in one of his flower beds, and he didn't know what they were.
Yep. Hey,
And I said,
Sammy.
"Oh, I just said, Paul, that's just some mushroom. You can just get rid of those." So,
Excuse me.
so I
Yeah,
picked them for him.
yeah. Well, that's when I was doing the landscaping around here. I'd see them at several places. Oh, excuse me. Go out to cut grass, and I'd find them all over the place. Just a matter of which ones. So, Hamilton, what's the spore test? You said something about putting them on paper.
Was it one of those puffball type mushrooms?
Oh, I've seen all sorts of different kinds around here.
Oh, I would love to find puffballs are very common up in this neck of the woods.
Yeah,
Purple,
I've
you
seen
should
some of the puffballs here too.
chew into them. They're wonderful and they're so fucking big. You slice them up and you can like freeze them as is, or you can do a quick blanch on them or something like that and freeze them, and you can have mushrooms for months.
Yeah.
Get one of these 10-pound puffballs, numb.
Well, I do like, sauteed mushrooms in butter.
Mm.
Those are
Yeah,
good with any decent cut of beef.
I even like mushrooms in the damn can.
Yeah, again, there's, around here I've had to be using a lot more canned and frozen stuff just because we can't get fresh produce that's worth anything. So, another thing about getting to Minnesota that, I'm sure my diet will improve.
Yeah, it sure is a bit of a food desert in the rural areas. I was not prepared for that.
Yeah, well, it's like potatoes and cheap meat is about all, I can really get. And just
Well,
when
that
I
I
was
see.
living
I
in New
won't.
York, I would just live off of salads for weeks at a time.
I won't gripe about the meats around here. You're not in farmland. You're in woods, right? Where you're living,
Yeah,
mostly. Yeah. Here we have farmland, and there's lots of local guys that butcher the meat and sell it to the local grocery stores and stuff.
yeah, well,
We
that's
we get excellent fucking quality meat around here.
there
Can't
were a
afford it,
lot of
but
farms
it's good
around here
quality.
at one time, but they've all been abandoned and overgrown. There's really nobody in this area that's farming anywhere close by anymore.
And then I mean I know the guy who is has the local apiary, so I know exactly where my honey is coming from.
Ah, for me, the
Um,
question is more what type of plants they're getting the nectar from. Because I've found that some honeys I'm allergic to and some I'm not. So it seems to just be based on what it is the bees are getting the nectar from.
I can see
yeah,
that being an
which is
issue.
always hard to predict. I mean, you can put your hive in the middle of a clover field, but doesn't mean they're going to eat the clover, and they might go
Yeah.
somewhere else.
Well, see, the clover honey will give me migraines. I can't have that. But the The apple blossom honey I'm fine with.
So you're very restricted to what time of year you can even get proper honey.
Well, fortunately, honey keeps really well, so
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
not a
It's the only
problem
food
to
that
get
won't
a
spoil.
jar and have it last the whole year. They've actually found honey in some of the Egyptian pyramids that was still edible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. Yeah, I love honey. Ooh, peanut butter and honey sandwiches.
I get honey, but I never seem to actually use it. It is really weird.
I mostly use it in tea.
Don't drink tea as nearly as much as I should.
Yeah,
Well,
I
make
can't
peanut
use
butter
it in
and
too many things because Sloth Girl is allergic to all honey.
Mm.
make peanut butter and honey sandwiches. You'll use it.
Yep, those are good.
Mm. I remember doing that. Hold on a second. When I was living up north in Minnesota, in Montana, um, one of the things that we would do because we were on commodities is they would give us this really low quality peanut butter,
Yep, the
and then we would,
government surplus stuff.
yeah, basically, um, and we would get some honey, take out a couple of scoops of the peanut butter, put the honey in the jar, and then like mix it all up,
Hmm.
and then so because they the reason they said to do that was it made this peanut butter a little thinner, but it still made it easier to eat than if you tried to put peanut butter and then honey on bread separately. You
But
know,
have you ever put the lime in the coconut and drink them both up? You know the lime in the coconut? Drink them both out. I like the
I'm not a,
lime in the coconut. Drink them all down.
I'm not a fan of citrus personally. You know,
Oh, I
everybody's like,
love
"Oh,
lime. Oh,
margaritas the best," and I'm just like, "Give me a pina colada."
I like strawberry margaritas.
Yeah, that's true. Now, my
Yeah,
favorite thing to get that a lot of people had never even heard of is a Miami Vice.
what's that?
Well, if you get it someplace that's knows what they're doing, it's a half margarita, half strawberry daiquiri drink, and it's not mixed. They pour strawberry daiquiri in, and then they put pina colada on top of it, so that basically, like as you're drinking, if you put your straw all the way in, you get strawberry daiquiri. If you pull your straw out a little bit, you're doing pina colada.
Ah,
So you have like basically two drinks in one. If you go someplace that doesn't know what they're doing, they mix it all together and then it's just a strawberry pina colada.
okay. I like the concept, but I'm not big on pina coladas. Also, I like the strawberry margaritas, but not daiquiris. I can't have rum either.
I don't even know what a daiquiri is.
Uh, you know what strawberry margarita is?
No, never had one.
Oh,
But I imagine it's some kind of strawberry juice with tequila.
yeah, it's pretty much pureed strawberries, but same thing. But if you use rum instead of tequila, it's a daiquiri.
Ah, okay.
But I am allergic to sugar cane, so rum doesn't work. So, yeah.
I wonder how many times I've seen this commercial on TV for this full exterior thing to wash the outside of your house. And when did washing the outside of your house become a thing?
Um, when houses started getting dirty.
Yeah, I have to wonder if that had something to do with the vinyl siding because it's like houses used to just be you left them out in the rain and they were okay.
Oh, well, yeah, I'll agree with that. Vinyl siding is not only ugly, but it collects algae and all kinds of shit.
If
I don't
it's
know.
properly installed, you really shouldn't have problems with things growing on it. But then again, if somebody didn't do the installation right, then you'll have places where, water can sit in the channels and then you can start growing mold and things in it.
No, no, no. I'm talking about algae and shit that grows right on the vertical face.
Hmm.
Not in the corners, right on the main body of it. I see it lots.
I don't know. I wish my dad had got it when he got his house instead of trying to just paint the house.
Yeah, Hamable's mentioning stucco too, and yeah. Yeah, I grew up in a brick house, so that wasn't an issue at all.
Well, I mean, it's very low maintenance. Like you don't have to worry about repainting
Yeah,
or anything like that. And if you're in a high humidity place and it gets moldy or dirty, you just use a pressure washer on it and it comes right off.
yeah. Well, and it also takes temperature fluctuations better than some other materials.
Hmm.
So yeah, I understand it's practical, and I've installed it on quite a few houses myself. And it is a lot easier to install than the aluminum because you don't have to worry about kinking it.
You guys were talking about the mushrooms. It made me remember something I've been watching. I've been watching this show on YouTube now called Bondi Vet, and it's basically a vet's office in Australia. And they were trying to track this case of this dog that would just start shaking and salivating and then stop. And they couldn't figure out what it was. So finally the vet's like, let's put a camera in the yard. And come to find out, cane toads were sneaking into the yard.
Oh,
And one of the dogs is like ultimate squeaky toy.
yeah, I've heard about that being a problem in Australia. That a
Yeah.
number of dogs have died from eating the cane toads.
Well, this dog was just apparently just licking it.
Yeah, well,
And
that's what the teenagers found out that they could get high licking the toads. And I'm kind of like, how did you find that out? This is
how desperate do you have to be to get high to lick a
okay,
toad?
Jen. Now we got two of you there. Okay. Well, I mean, this is not something you discovered accidentally.
Hmm.
So, what was it that some kid dared somebody to lick a toad? That's the only thing I could think of.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think is like, dare you? Well, or one of them was actually smart and did some research and was like, hey, I'm reading here that it says if you lick this toad, it'll get you high. You want to try it?
Okay.
It could have also started out as one of those kid things. Like I remember growing up, the the thing to do was to make people eat milkweed pods.
Still better than Tide Pods.
True.
I thought that the milky resin out of milkweeds were poisonous.
It can be in sufficient doses. Most people don't get that far because it tastes extremely bitter.
Hmm. Yeah, that was it. Was the it was. I'm sorry, I should have said it was the bully thing to do. Catch a kid you didn't like and stuff a milkweed pod, a milkweed pod in their mouth.
Oh, you mean like when my grandpa took me snipe hunting?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Neither of you have been snipe hunting?
Nope.
No,
Oh, really?
I understood that one before they tried to pull it on me.
If anybody offers to take you snipe hunting, just say no, Kitty.
Okay. What is it?
Um, well, in our case, my grandfather took us out to camp overnight, and then at I don't know, dark 30, whatever it was. He says, "Okay, we're all going snipe hunting," and he gives each person a bag and a flashlight, and says, "Okay, you go over there, and you walk along the fence line with the bag on the ground, and show the flashlight into the bag and into the fence, into the bag, and call, here snipe," and they'll run into the bag. And it's what you do to children to laugh at them for a while while they're doing stupid things that you talk them
It's
into
basically
because you're an evil grandparent.
it basically what's the word? I forgot the word I was thinking of. It's just a bunch of teasing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Gullibility was the word I was actually looking for.
Ah.
Is to test how gullible a kid is, to if they'll believe that.
Well, it's not really how gullible they are. It's about, if they trust the person who's telling them.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, and Hans, I'm half finished, so there is always Lidfisk for the Christmas dinner. I have never been
I
able to get
actually
past the
lost.
smell, so
I actually lost any sense of trust I had in that particular grandfather. He would pull that kind of shit on us as kids.
yeah. See, that's what I mean.
After the
It's
third or fourth time of just laughing, making fun of you and all this shit, and it's like I don't need that.
yeah. So
So I just
why would you do that with somebody who trusts you?
I mean, one gag is one thing, but to just keep fucking with a kid like that, it's just not right.
Yep. Well, I was the youngest in my family, so I had a lot of that stuff growing up.
I'm gonna lose out here. My batteries are about had it.
Oh, sorry. Well,
I
I'm
usually
glad you
would
came in
plug
for a
in
while anyway.
and operate that way, but the damn connectors are not engaging properly, and it's not charging.
The next time I get a new phone, I'm going to invest in one of those magnetic cell phone chargers. Have you guys ever seen those things?
Mm-hmm.
What, the pads that you just lay it on?
No, it's
Like a little button that you plug in.
yeah. Basically, you plug the little port into your phone, and then the other part of the charger is a magnet. So when they get near each other, they snap together and it starts charging.
Oh yeah.
So that you don't accidentally, like I can't count how many times I've knocked my phone off the nightstand while it's charging
Hmm.
and been worried that, oh crap, I just bent every pin in it and it's not going to charge anymore.
Yeah. Well, you really
And then
shouldn't leave them charged
Another
overnight
observation.
anyway. because overcharging is one of the worst ways to kill your battery.
Another observation on StreamYard here. Even though we've only got 3 people here and it started out perfectly clear, as time has gone on, that defect has started to show up, and now it's almost as bad as if I had 5 people on here. So I
Yeah,
think it's
that
some kind of
seems to be
memory
something
leak.
in the mobile app.
Yeah, I think it's some kind of memory leak.
Yeah,
That
it's
we're getting.
always the people who are on a phone or tablet that run into that.
They're not doing proper pagination on their memory then. Badly written software.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that they didn't spend enough time debugging the mobile app. And it may be that works fine on some devices, and they just didn't. When they tried to get it to work for different devices, they didn't quite get all the bugs out of it.
Hmm. Well, I'm gonna jump out then because I'm at 17% and dropping.
Okay,
And there was a
yeah,
couple
you
things
got
I
plug in
needed
and
to do
recharge.
before I lose power.
Okay, all right, we'll see you later.
All right, kitties.
Bye bye. Have either
Bye
of you heard from
bye.
Diana?
Lisa's able to get on for a little while. That's nice.
Yep,
I like your show. You got
it's good to
it's a
chat
good,
with you.
comfy show. All right, see you guys.
Yep.
Yeah. I
Did
don't even know,
hmm.
who we've got here. Well, it actually says there's 11 people here.
Oh yes, it does say that.
People aren't typing
We've
very
got
much, though.
oh, Hamable Hands, Tea and Danish. I don't know. Me, I'm obviously watching.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know if everybody was still here or if they had kind of wandered off because nobody's been typing anything in the side chat. Just Hamable.
Yeah.
So, so I guess people are listening, but must have their hands full with other things. No, I don't think anybody's doing that listening to me. Yeah, Doc, I figured
Actually,
that you were at work.
I don't want to go back to work tomorrow.
Yeah, but you want to get paid, and unfortunately, they tend to
Yeah.
go together.
Yeah, and I've already missed 2 days this week, so my next paycheck is not going to be fun.
Oh, what kind of a pirate are you? Go steal somebody else's booty.
I'm a bad pirate.
I think you should go after Brainy Beaver. It looked to me like you've got a bigger ship than he does. Oh, Doc's filling in for somebody being sick.
Yeah, I ended up. I went. I went. I got home from work Friday night, and by 3, I had a fever. So I went to bed. It was a fever of about 101. So I went to bed, got up at 1 to get ready for work, and still had a fever. So I called out. The fever finally went away around 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So I got up because I had been in bed for like 12 hours at that point,
Yeah.
and was good until 1 o'clock in the morning, and then the fever came back
Hmm.
for about 20 minutes. And then I ended up going to work on Sunday and going to work on Monday and then I asked my boss for an extra day off to recover because my cough was literally making it so that I couldn't,
Well, yeah,
stand. You're coughing 3 or 4 times and then you're tired. So
yep.
he let me go home early. No, he let me. I stayed the day, but he gave me Tuesday off. So I had Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday to recover.
Yeah, well, I'm self-employed, so I generally don't have a schedule. I just have a list of things that have to be finished by Friday. Oh,
Oh,
sorry, we're being boring today.
yeah. Boring, boring, boring.
Yeah, when my father died, the union steward went over the paperwork with my mom, and he said he had to check it 4 times because he couldn't believe it that in 35 years my father had only missed 6 days of work.
Yeesh.
It's like, come on. I don't think I go through a year without missing at least that much.
Well, it was a completely different generation. They believed in sacrificing their health
Yeah,
for the job, and a lot of times the job actually appreciated it. Nowadays, that's not a thing.
yeah. Well, that's an actually I'm older than most of the people on here, and my dad, just because there's 15 years between me and my oldest brother, that's almost a full generation in there.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad was born in 1921. He was a World War II vet.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, everything was a lot different, and that was also back when the unions actually worked and actually, you know, took
And
care of the
people
workers.
and the people supported them.
Yeah,
But what are you gonna do?
yeah, and I grew up with that, so it's like I grew up with the idea of being a strong union supporter and
Mm-hmm.
got quite disillusioned with it over the years as I saw that it's like a lot of the unions seem to sell their people out.
Yeah.
And I realized that the problem was that the unions were no longer being run by people who were in the unions. They were farming it out, so the unions had become nothing but another level of management. So the people who were negotiating the contracts were not personally invested in them, and
Mm-hmm.
too often the companies, could buy out the representative and they'd recommend them to vote on a bad contract.
Mm-hmm.
So, one of those things that, yeah, it was a good idea and it worked well for several decades, but then the whole system slowly deteriorated until now it's not really worth anything.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think some of the unions might, like the teachers' unions,
There
those
are a
might,
few still, yeah.
Mhm.
Well, Hans, I'm 55, and in some respects, I'm starting to feel it, but I also think that I've got better than average chance of beating 100. I'm likely to get there with a lot of aches and pains, but based on what I seem to pretty sure what my genetics are, and I seem to have avoided most of the things that have killed half of my family. Which is, again, part of getting out of here because alcoholism is real common in my family.
Mm.
So, yeah, the fact I'm drinking so much more is a little alarming, but on the other hand, I also discovered that I'm still more cheap than needing it because when I ran out for a week, I didn't want to pay the extra $3 a bottle to buy it in town, so I still waited until I could drive to Wisconsin.
Yeah,
Wisconsin
that's
sales
a
tax on alcohol is a lot less. So if I can do that and I'm still that cheap that I'll give it up for not having to pay the extra $3, I can't be too much of a problem.
well, it's one of those things that people don't understand is that I think with some things it can actually be situational and locational.
Yeah.
You know, you take what is my thought process? I'm not sure. Um, it's like I went to a therapist once when I was younger, and like within 10 minutes, the lady had um she had not diagnosed. She had words.
Assessed.
No, when she gives you a thing, prescribed was the word I was looking for.
Okay.
She had prescribed me Prozac, and I was like, "How is this going to help with my actual situation?" It's like I'm not depressed. I'm depressed because I don't have a job and my marriage is failing and I don't have any friends where I live. How is drugs going to help me with this? It's like that's not. You know,
Yeah.
it's one of those things where it's just assigning people
Oh yeah.
drugs.
I went through a lot of that. They tried me on all sorts of different pills before they even had a proper diagnosis. So that's I have kind of shied away from that, and it's gotten better since they finally figured out what was wrong. But that was another problem that I had when I moved here. That at the mental health center here, they didn't really want to pay attention to my records from my clinic in New York.
Hmm.
So it's like she is trying to try me out on all sorts of different drugs again, and it's like, first of all, everything you've tried to prescribe me, they already tried to prescribe me at some point in the past. So I can already tell you it's either not going to work or it's going to have side effects I'm not willing to tolerate.
Hmm.
It's the same thing. For me, it is situational. It's that I really don't have clinical depression. Mostly here it's boredom,
Hmm.
which looks a lot like depression to a lot of people. I do have an anxiety disorder.
Hmm.
when I get stressed out, I don't handle it well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, my biggest problem is still the sleep. If I could find anything that would make me sleep regularly, then I'd do a lot better.
Have you tried a weighted heavy blanket or not yet?
Yeah, actually, I Sloth Girl bought me one of the weighted blankets,
Mm-hmm.
and it didn't really seem to make any difference for me.
Mm.
And it did make it harder to reposition at night. When I'd roll over, it was awkward.
Oh, just thought if the cat on your legs helped, maybe the weighted blanket would.
Yeah, I thought it was going to help too, but I didn't really stay asleep any better.
What kind of bed do you have? Do you just have a regular bed?
Yeah,
Do you like to have your head elevated when you're sleeping, or do you lay flat?
what I've got now is flat. When I was with my fiance, I had propped up the bed at an incline because it helped her.
Did that help you?
Uh, no, I still, the main thing is just not staying asleep for more than 2 hours at a time. So I'd still go through that cycle that I'd wake up after 2 hours and take an hour or more to fall back to sleep.
Have you tried medication?
Oh yeah,
Like doctor medication, not over the
yep,
counter? Oh,
yeah. The Lunesta destroyed
mm-hmm.
my sense of taste. Everything tasted like metal.
Weird. Okay.
And the Ambien, I was taking while I was with my fiance, and it was causing me memory gaps that I would not only forget from when I took the pill, but like up to 2 hours before I had taken it.
Yeah.
And well, she told me that I was being uncharacteristically aggressive, that
Mm-hmm.
apparently I was starting fights with her at night and I didn't remember it the next day.
Yeah, that sounds. No, I was gonna say reasonable, but that's not reasonable. But
Yeah, well,
um,
when I read up on it, I found that was reported by some other people.
my ex apparently was on some medications that I was unaware of that would make him lose his memory um, while he was on it. And I didn't find this out until years after we'd broken up and just been hanging out as friends.
Yeah,
And I was like, "Do you remember this?" And he's like, "No." I'm like, "Seriously, can we stop playing this game?" He goes, "What game?" I said, "This pretending not to know, not remember things because you don't want to deal with what happened." He's like, "No, I seriously don't remember." And then he told me the medication that it was on, and I looked it up, and I was like, "Oh shit! I thought all this time that he had just been, you know, avoiding dealing with something, but he literally just really could not remember."
yeah. I think what happens with the Ambien is I think it somehow interferes with the brain, converting short-term memories into long-term memories,
Mm-hmm.
which is normally done while you're sleeping. But that
Mm-hmm.
somehow with the Ambien, it just kind of loses the short-term memories before they've been processed.
Yeah, that would make sense, I guess.
That's pretty much what I got from reading it.
Oh.
Which the one good thing about that is it did give me a good idea for my science fiction. It's one of the main alien races I'm working with has figured out how to mimic that effect.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, for humans, if he like scratches them to get a bit of it into the bloodstream, that then the people will forget that they saw the aliens.
Mm, well, that works. I mean, that would work on a one-on-one situation.
Yeah, well, and that's the shortfall of it, that he has to be able to, get within arm's reach. He's got to be able to actually touch people to make it work. But if you wake up with a scratch and you don't remember how it happened, you probably ran into aliens. I'm not saying it was aliens, but it was aliens.
Yeah, I forgot. When I was at Faithless Forum, I was supposed to get Ocean and take a picture of him doing the alien's hands. You know that meme?
Yep.
Oh, I think it was supposed to be Christians. He was supposed to hold his hands out and make it like the do that meme, and then instead of having it say aliens, just say Christians. Because at the time there was something. I think that was what it was supposed. Either that or it was supposed to say atheist. I mean, either way, it would work given his polytheistic positions.
Yeah.
But I vaguely remember that there kept being these weird things going on.
It seemed there were a lot of weird things that happened at the last one. I just heard stories, a lot of them from Ocean and Cirrus.
Yeah, well, I didn't see anything weird going on, but I was very shy at that one. Next time I'm getting good seats.
Yeah. Well, and that's, I was trying to plan a trip to see if I could get down there, but, obviously don't have the money this year.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if you're going to be trying to move.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
Well, and that's how it's hoping to recover some of what this guy owed me, but unfortunately now, besides declaring the business bankrupt, he's also declared personal bankruptcy, so.
Hmm.
And, up here people are used to doing things on a handshake, so I did not have a written contract. So I really don't have anything I could take him to court with.
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird system up here, too. It's like
Hmm.
people discuss something on a handshake, and then it's like when you figure everybody's forgotten about it because you haven't heard anything in 3 or 4 months, they come back to you and then they want to do it. It's like you haven't talked to me for 3 months and now you expect me to show up for the job.
Hmm.
But yeah, up here everybody's so broke that hardly anybody could afford to hire me. Even when I went down to charging 40% of what was my base rate in New York.
Oof.
Yeah, so literally, even trying to get jobs working for half what I used to, there's still nobody who could afford it. Not that the houses up here don't need it, just nobody's got any money.
Hmm.
But yeah, this was just a mining town, so it's like the last of the mines closed in the 1980s, and just there hasn't been anything up here, that was viable for employing any significant number of people. And just it's weird to like see some of the old pictures of what this place used to look like.
Hmm.
That it really was a pretty bustling town, 50, 60 years ago.
This thing is annoying me.
And that's when all the mines were running full steam. That's actually how my grandparents wound up coming here. Well, my great grandparents, was when all the mines were running, they were actually sending people off to recruit in other countries
Mm-hmm.
because they couldn't find enough workers. And there was some logging that was going on up here, but of course they cut down all of the old growth forest. There's still a bit of logging that goes on, but not nearly on the scale it used to. Basically, it's like the trees that were planted in the 70s and 80s that are big enough now to make it worth them taking it, but even most of that stuff, it's just taking the trees for the paper mill.
This website is annoying the heck out of me.
What you trying to do now?
Trying to log in to Equifax to get my tax return. I was able to log into it no problem like 2 weeks ago, and now it's like your username and password don't match.
Yeah, it gets annoying when you need a separate password for every website and trying to keep them all straight. And they always tell you don't write them down, but how are you supposed to remember them all? Especially when each one of them has a different syntax for what you need, whether or not they'll accept special characters and crap like that. Some of them require special characters, some of them won't accept any punctuation marks.
Mm-hmm.
They make it way too complicated. That's what SteamYards has a weird way of doing that, but it actually works. That you don't actually have a password for going into SteamYards. It just sends a random 6-digit number to your email each time.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, so it's generating a random password every time you log in. Some people have complained about it, but like I say, for as often as I can't figure out the passwords I've used on the sites for logging into my bank account and that, half the time I wind up using the forgot password and they have to send it to the email anyway. Anything that I don't, log into every week.
Right.
Yeah, a little disappointed that Diana still hasn't gotten online either.
Mm-hmm.
But at least she posted something to Twitter, so she can't be doing too badly. Yeah, Hans is mentioning the LastPass, and yeah, I keep getting one of the programs I installed keeps giving me ads about that Dashlane. Those like master password sites or password management sites. And yeah, I'm not sure I trust those either because it's like, so somebody only has to get into one place to get all my passwords then? And unfortunately, there's been too many instances of serious security breaches. Not that that's anything I have to worry about too much. It's not like I have any money for anyone to take.
All right.
You want my credit card's numbers? You're welcome to them. Not gonna do you any good. Oh, Ham. I'm not sure where you're at, Hamable, but yeah, we've got kind of storms coming from two directions here. We're supposed to get hammered. Pittsburgh was supposed to have gotten hit pretty heavy today.
There we go. Took forever. I got in. Yeah, I put off filing my taxes last year till really late for me, because like I waited until like May.
Yeah, well, as long as they owe you money, that's not a problem.
No, I know, but for me,
Yeah.
it's like the sooner I get my taxes, the sooner I can, start planning with that money.
Yeah.
Both. My boyfriend behind me, he goes, planning or playing? And I said, both.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure how wide the track of the storm is, but yeah, we've got the weather advisories up here too. So I think it's going to cover most of Wisconsin and Michigan tomorrow. Yeah, taxes are not a fun part of being self-employed either. Got to make sure you got receipts for everything.
Hmm.
And I'm really not that organized. Organization is not a skill set I ever learned. Again, that was the kind of stuff my fiance was good at taking care of. You know, she was the office manager
Hmm.
and my artist.
Yeah. My dad used to say that my mother was um his social secretary.
Yeah, Doc, what you're going to be getting in the morning is going to be the second storm to hit us. Right now, we're getting one that's coming kind of from the east, and then after that goes over, the one that's hitting Iowa tomorrow is coming in from Colorado, and that's going to come across the rest of the Midwest like the day after. Hey, Orla.
I knew that was going to be easy to find. You now have a friend's request on Steam.
Oh, okay. Well, it's not like I'm really on there very much.
Oh, I
Like I
know.
said, I got on there to to find those games, and that's I've got to figure out how to run them. So things like this that we could be running a game here. So I'll have to do a test stream on that.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, because I
Tired.
played that Quiplash in MathPeg stream, so it's a fun game.
Yeah, I
I'll
might
have to
not
see
be.
what the other ones there are.
I might not be quite quick enough on my feet for that one.
Well, the Quiplash, you really don't. It's not such a serious time limit.
Okay, then what I maybe meant to say is I'm not that witty.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Is just it's kind of like Cards Against Humanity, but you don't have cards. You have to make up your own answers.
Well, right, that's the problem. Is the making things up on the spot.
Yeah. Yeah, but that part of it you're not under a time limit for. It lets
Hmm.
it go until everybody gets their answers in. Yeah, no, Orla, the computer I was offering doesn't need a motherboard. It has a functional one. It's such an old one that you probably can't upgrade the processor. So, yeah, it's got
I
like a Pentium 4, and that's probably about as far as it can go.
I do not get these videos that people post of themselves on Twitter and stuff, where they're just kind of sitting there and looking at the camera and kind of tilting their head one way and tilting their head the other way and smiling. It's like, say something or do something. Don't just look like a freaking robot at the computer.
Yeah, but I don't even get the ones of, people just gaming if they're not talking about something, because they're just not that interested in watching someone else play a game.
Hmm.
And some people, like, Bible Belt Atheist will be playing his racing game, but he'll be talking about something different while he's doing it.
Uh-huh.
So if he's got an interesting topic, that can be worthwhile. Confidence in 6 to 8 inches is high. Well, yeah, there are very few men have more than that. So, um, yeah, hands. I suppose it could have a motherboard put into it, but at that point, you're pretty much replacing the whole computer and just keeping the case. So,
Yeah.
I suppose there'd be something to that because at least you're keeping the case and power supply, and that would be slightly cheaper. But
Not if the power supply's not powerful enough for the new motherboard.
that's a point too. But I don't think that would so much be a problem because actually the newer ones tend to take less power than the older ones did.
Hmm.
The power supply issues tend to come into it more, if you're like running multiple drives and that they wind up taking up a lot more power. I'm not real good with the computers. I know the basics, and it's like if somebody else were to pick out the components, I could probably assemble one, but I wouldn't know what's compatible with what. Ah, I can't build upon a Lego. Although I might be able to pay for one that way. Well, that's my first attempt at trying to come up with a moving fund as I've been going through my Lego collection and trying to sell off some of that stuff. So partly it's a little stressful at this point because it's like I've got verbal assurances that we're going to move, but until I actually have the lease in hand, I'm still worried that something's going to go wrong.
Yes.
But apparently, the building manager, after she gave me these assurances, uh, I guess she like had vacation days she had to use up or something because then I got a auto response when I sent the next email saying that she's out of the office until the 21st. So, yeah, I just wish she had, faxed us the damn leases before she left.
Yeah.
But, it's one of those cases that there's no reason to believe anything will go wrong. I'm probably just being paranoid just because I had two previous times I thought I was going to get out of here and things fell through.
Yeah.
Of course, even once I get the leases, then it's going to be stressful actually doing it because the last three moves I've had have all been in very bad situations. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to have some serious anxiety about when I'm packing everything up and getting everything organized to go.
Yeah. Moving is even when it's something you want to do or you need to do, it's
Yeah.
still blah.
Well, it's my last one, of course. I needed to, get out of there because I couldn't afford the house I was living in, but the process of packing everything up involved packing up all my fiance's stuff, and that was just, really hard going through all that, and
Mm.
and having to get rid of a lot of her stuff, and it's like that didn't feel good. It's like when things that I could give to her friends that I knew they would appreciate, that was fine. But there's so much stuff I didn't know what to do with, and I've still got boxes of her stuff that I don't really know what to do with. Yeah, Hans, as far as the video editing, you should check out Jen with one N. That she does all of her stuff on her cell phone, so apparently she just does the video editing through a website. So, yeah, she doesn't have a proper computer, and she still has put out some pretty good videos, and she's even, doing some 3D animation with it. So I don't know how she pulls that off with the phone, but it is possible. I should get a link for her thing. If I could find it. No, that's not it. And one of the things I hate about YouTube,
Hmm.
well, it's like it gives me the list of everybody I'm subscribed to, but there are hundreds of people there,
Uh-huh.
and it won't let you do anything sensible like let you sort the list alphabetically.
Yeah.
Why can't I just sort it alphabetically so I can just go and find the name I need? I think the order it's sorted in might be based on who posted something most recently.
Yeah, that is what it's sorted by. So
Yeah.
whoever.
Well, that doesn't help me much when I'm looking for someone who hasn't put up anything new in the last month.
I don't see the need to unsubscribe from somebody for the reason of they're not updating.
Right. Well, and that's the same with me. And it's like, you know, I'm subscribed to a bunch of people who have no content just because they're people I've talked to in the side chats.
Hmm.
So I just kind of want a way to, keep tabs on them. But yeah, so that's why I've got a list of, several hundred people I'm subscribed to, even though there's actually, I've had to keep it down to only getting the notifications from, just several dozen. Otherwise, I wind up getting so many notifications every day, I get lost in that.
Oh, I don't even do notifications. I just use the subscription tab.
Well, mostly the notifications, are so that when somebody's live streaming, it'll
Uh-huh.
hopefully give me the notification. Although YouTube is pretty good about giving me the notification for like premieres a half an hour after they've started. So when it's a 15-20 minute premiere and I get the notification half an hour after it started, it's done with before I get the notification.
It's actually been pretty good for me about notifying me when somebody goes live. Um, it seems to me that it works best if you've always got a browser open. The only time I get notifications that something has happened after it's happened is if I open up the browser afterwards, and then all the notifications that I've missed have popped up.
No, for me, even if I'm on YouTube watching something else, I don't get most of the notifications on time. That's really pretty much what I rely on Twitter for is, that people will post things on there when they're going live. Yeah, as you're saying it, I'm looking through my list here. Yeah, there's a lot of people on here who haven't posted anything in quite a while. A couple of them I worry about because they've gone quiet and just nobody seems to know what happened.
Yeah.
I hate that part of the internet that, you know, when you've gotten to know someone online and then they just disappear and you never really know what happened.
Oh yeah, that happened to me a couple times back when I was younger, and it was actually it was role playing. I used to do role playing games, and we would get online and we would role play our characters together. And okay, I got to admit, it was probably a little bit of a crush because we were role playing relationships with our characters. So we would spend a lot of time. Shut up, you! My boyfriend in the background, getting a little jealous.
Is he getting jealous of somebody that you used to have a crush on?
Well, I mean, it's one thing to have a crush. It's like it was never anything I would have pursued. But, you know,
Yeah.
we spent hours and hours and hours together playing the video game, talking, becoming real friends. And
Hmm.
then they just drop off the face of the planet. And it was like losing and it was losing a real friend,
Yeah.
And I sometimes wonder what happened to them. But there's no way to track him down now.
Yeah, well, there's, like one guy that was on YouTube, Mr. Logic, and he was posting things about his experience with Islam, but he's still living somewhere in the Middle East. So that's real scary that he went quiet like a year ago when it's like,
Hmm.
yeah, he could be in serious trouble just because somebody found his YouTube channel.
Right. Let me see. I think the only person that I'm subscribed, we used to be subscribed to a couple of people. Um, I think Quillia Soup is one that I follow that doesn't post hardly at all. But I think that's because he's teamed up with his brother, who is Theremin Trees. You familiar with Theremin Trees?
No.
Oh my goodness, he's great. You should look him up. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, there are a couple others.
I stumbled across this channel called Betsy Lee, and she's an animator and she's an artist and an animator, and she's doing this little series. And I stumbled across this one video, and I started watching it. I'm watching this video, and I'm like, "What the hell is this?" And then 5 minutes in, I'm like, "I love it. I want to watch all of it." Let me see if I can find it. It was mostly because of the voice of the character.
hmm
Her name was Calamity. Was it?
Yeah, Doc, I was wondering about Adriana too, because she had been real active for a while and haven't heard anything for several months at least. I think somebody else said in passing that they were in contact with her, but I don't even remember who it was. Yeah, her channel's still there. Hey, Mikey. Well, it's a pretty quiet night, so I think maybe I'll just shut this down if unless anybody has something they want to discuss.
Yeah.
So thanks for sitting in here with me, Pirate Kitty, and
No problem. Sorry, I went quiet. I was still looking for that video. I
yeah,
found it.
Mikey, I was just thinking I was gonna shut down because it's just being quiet. Nobody seems to have much to talk about tonight.
Yeah, I got nothing. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm like 99% sure that Theremin Trees said that Quillia Soup is his brother at some point. But yeah, here, let me see if I can share this. You can tell me what you think. I think it's kind of funny.
yeah, Beej, we saw that post from Diana about her watching the Hitchens videos, and that was like early this afternoon. We haven't seen anything since then.
If you can hear it, it's what got me hooked was the voice of the lizard lady.
I can't really hear the voices.
Well, he was singing low.
Yeah, I can't hear the voices at all. But yeah, I've seen the characters from this.
Well, if you can't hear it, it's. But yeah, I'll give you a link to it. I was just like, what is this? And then it was this part. She was like, you ain't fooling nobody. Give me back my fish. And I'm just like, I love this voice. I've got to hear more.
Yeah.
But she did a couple of actual little mini music videos with some of her characters.
Yeah, Mikey, if you want to come in and chat for a while, that's fine.
Oh, excuse me.
Um,
I'm going to remove that from the stream.
did we have you in the group on Twitter, Mikey?
Did Bub get back in there? I think he did. Let me see. What is Mikey's Twitter?
Or isn't it like Deviance or?
I think it was like the Deviants. DEV.
Yeah, the Deviant. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, we didn't get him in the new group yet.
I don't think he was in
Okay,
the old one
Mikey,
either.
you're added to the group now.
Well, he won't be able to see the tweet. You'll have to.
Yep.
There, I re-added. Sent a link again. Toot toot peanut butter.
You sent it there?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, Mikey. We went to a new group because there were some dead accounts in the old one that were messing things up.
Holy cow.
My allergies are really getting to me today. Last couple of days, really. Oh, there's Mikey. Hello.
Yo.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
So what's going on with you?
Another day in paradise.
Must be nice.
It's just Phil Collins lyrics.
Hey,
Another day.
Doorknob.
Another day for me and you in paradise. Oh, think twice.
That's before your time. You're not supposed to know that.
Yeah, Purple, that's before your time. You don't know about that.
Right.
I'm
I think if you put both your ages together, you might be about up to mine.
an old soul, though. I'm older than most. So you guys cool with my +1 or yes, no?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. You probably know who this is.
Now, you say you're an old soul. I'm reincarnated from a Torosaurus that lived in Montana 66 million years ago.
I know, I just sent you the thing. Side chat.
Hey, Purple, you remember that? Are you tall, Purple?
Yep.
No, I'm average height.
About 6'5".
No, that's my brother.
Did I ever show you the stuff for that Nathan Pyle guy? The aliens.
Okay, you want to share this?
Yeah, it's safe. This says, "Hello, your body is long." The other one says, "I sense your required assistance." "Ah, how did you know?" says the short one. "Because this occurs so frequently." The other one says, "Apologies, this must be tiresome." The tall one says, "I have accepted my role in society." Then the one says, "Gratitude." And then the next one comes along and says, "Hello, long being."
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, sometimes Sloth Girl comes over here and just says, I need a tall person.
Oh.
She has trouble reaching the upper cabinets.
Story of my life.
I used to because I'm like 5'9", 5'10", almost 6, and my mother was short. And what she would do is she would just yell from the kitchen, "Oh, tall person!" And that was my cue to go get her something off the top shelf.
Yeah, I'm just 5'9", but Sloth Girl's only like 5'2". And she has rather short arms to go with it, so just not much vertical reach.
Oh, son of a bitch. I tried to surprise you guys with a one shot.
Oops. With a what?
Let's see if it still works here. Hey. Download.
So
Okay.
David, welcome to the channel. What's up with
Hey,
you?
how are you doing?
I recognize this name, but I can't remember why.
Oh, probably lots of reasons.
I know I've run into you somewhere before. I just can't think of whose stream it would have been in.
Oh, I
Could've been
remember. You do stuff with Steve.
I used to help produce way back when.
Ah, okay. Wait.
What, with Steve
Okay.
McRae?
Yeah, way back.
Okay. Yeah, it's like I know him. I never really watched his stuff on a regular basis just because I don't really get into the formal debates or that.
Not all of it was former debate. Some of it was just interesting conversation. Like back when non-tech was still good. You know, it was a good time. It was fun to work on.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I've seen some of his stuff. I just didn't follow it regularly.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought this was an easy game. There's so many rules here. Oh God, it's all about drinking. There's 7 pages about drinking.
Oh, we got a good drinking game?
Well, I thought it was a one-shot D&D campaign. I was like, this will be funny. And I'll just like make everybody like, hey, if you could be a character, what would you be at level 2? But this is extensive. It's a lot going on right now.
Yeah. At some point, I'm going to need somebody else to run a chat because I've been trying to challenge Beelzebub to get into a drinking game with me. He's fun when he's drunk.
He's fun, and then he gets quiet for 45 minutes because he fell asleep, and then he goes away.
Well, and that's why we'd have to have somebody else running the chat in case both of us passed out.
What you need is a consummate professional like myself, who's been drinking since fucking 4 p.m.
Yeah, well, that's why I try not to drink in these streams much anymore because there were a couple of times that I got to the point that I was slurring my words.
Yeah, slurring words is just a sign of love and compassion.
Yeah, but if
Is
I'm
that
running
what
it,
it
I
is?
think I have to be a little more professional than that.
Yeah, what's
Do
the
you
what?
really have to be though?
Yeah,
I mean,
what's everybody else doing?
Yeah.
Why you got to be the professional? These ass clowns are hanging out with you. They should carry some of the weight.
Yeah, well, mostly just to make sure we don't have like somebody come in trolling and screwing things up.
I wish they would. I watch all of your streams. I wish somebody would come in
Yeah.
here misbehaving.
I actually expected that at a couple points, but it never happened, and I was actually slightly disappointed.
Yeah, I don't think I've gotten big enough to attract the attention of any trolls yet.
Well, no, you remember when you were going to have that stream with Jen and Jenny, and it was going to be about the trans stuff right after a lot of that stuff happened,
Yeah,
and then Jenny spread it everywhere, like shared it all over the place.
yeah,
I was actually kind of worried that it might get into the hands of some turfs and whatnot, and that they would show up just because, hey, small channel, maybe we could fuck with them. But they didn't, so that was good. But I was still disappointed.
yeah. Well, also, we've got kind of a regular group, so there are people that will moderate the side chat even if I'm not paying attention to it all the time. Inquisitive Quandaries usually in the afternoon chat, and Dave, Critical Cripple, and Inquisitive Quandary have pretty much taken it on themselves to be primary moderators whenever they're around. I didn't even ask either of them to do it, but IQ's real good at shilling for me.
Oh,
Orla's saying that Sassy picked up a racist troll on her last one.
yeah.
Yeah, where'd Mikey go?
I don't know.
You heard racist troll and he was out.
Yeah, I think he was out before I actually said it, but
Could be.
Yeah, it was in chat when they were talking about that a little bit, and I don't know.
yeah, I
Like
and it's like
it's
I
it
don't even get
sucks.
those people. It's like, is that really the best thing you can find to do with your time?
I mean, it sucks that happened, and I'm not saying like it's a good thing, but if you're gonna put yourself out there on the internet, you kind of gotta be able to look past that kind of stuff.
I broke it.
Yeah, yeah, and like I say, I think it's going to happen at some point. It's just
Mhm.
What's gonna happen?
He's gonna
picking
get
up
trolled.
trolls. And I guess for me, part of it is that I usually don't have a topic posted, so people don't even know what I'm going to be talking about. Generally,
Well,
it's just people hanging out. Nobody's got anything in particular to talk about.
but you think people will troll you?
If they're willing to troll Sassy,
Yeah, especially since she just started a new channel, so she probably doesn't even have 100 subscribers on her new channel yet.
Oh, she's at like 350.
Oh, really? Did she get up that fast?
Yeah, she's way past me.
Yeah, well, then she's passed me already, too, because I haven't gotten up to 300 yet. I think I've got like 285.
see,
So
wait, so is it somebody in the chat with her or in the side chat? Orla.
Yeah, you have to be careful about, who you actually give the streaming link to. You don't want them you don't want anybody that you haven't had a chance to get to know and don't know what they might want to talk about
Yeah, but I mean,
because they could get you in trouble by just going off on the wrong subject.
I had a very amiable person in my stream before I ended it.
oh,
Wanted to talk, wanted to hang out, I'm like, yeah, I'm not putting the fucking link to the fucking chat in the damn side chat.
okay,
And
yeah, that's
I'm not doing that. So you can come in here and like spam porn. Like, what's your email? I'll email you. Oh, I don't have a mic. All right, cool.
if you don't have the mic, what's the point of being on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna just put it in the side chat and you can just like blow up my stream right now. Like, relax.
But yeah, Orla, that's a little bit different than what I thought had happened. That I can see justifiably being upset about. When they were talking about it in chat, I thought it was just somebody in the side chat being racist.
I
Not
thought you just
somebody
meant
who-
somebody posting links in the side chat.
Yeah, but somebody who actually got into the chat, like
Or
live.
Orla, are you talking about something recent, or did I miss something? Because I did drop out for a second there.
Yeah, a couple days ago, Sassy was doing a stream and she let somebody in and they called her the N-word and stuff on air. Like in live voice chat.
Yeah, this is the first I'm hearing about that too. I think she usually does her streams on Monday.
So, Sassy, if you watch this later, here's what you do. Black person to black person. You send me a fucking Twitter DM and I'm on my way. I have a special degree in dealing with assholes, especially of the racist variety. It is my speciality. It's like when Obi-Wan in fucking what's it called? What was that? Episode
Who was it, Doc?
Episode 3 or episode 1 or episode 2 or whatever it was. Siths are our speciality. Yeah, that's me. That's easy shit. That's light work for me. I have a degree in stupid racist white folk. So Sassy, if you catch this later, you hit up the boy. Bone Spurs will take care of it.
Like
That's why
Doc,
they pay me the big bucks.
but was he in the side chat first? I'm just
Yeah, I
mean, you can call yourself anything you want, especially if she was using something like StreamYards. I'm wondering, like, did he say something in the side chat, and did you get a name from there?
Well, he had to start talking to her somewhere, so either he had to like start in the side chat or been talking to her on Twitter or something like that.
Yeah.
Sass is at 330 subs with 8 videos. I'm supremely upset.
Well, you have to remember she had followers before she made the new channel.
Not my problem.
Okay.
I'm still upset.
Look, I have lost
Ooh.
track of how many people have blown past me at this point. I've pretty
Yeah.
much made a career out of promoting channels that grow faster than I do.
And that maybe that's our way, you know,
Yeah.
which is fun.
Well, technically I started my channel before Cirrus did.
Mm,
I'm gonna close the meet, David. Oh, you're not even in there. Close this. That's why I'm lagging out.
You silly. You thought that I would keep that running and mess everything else up?
Oh, Sassy put the stream link in the side chat. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I pretty much only use Twitter for that. I'm not going to put the link anywhere public that just anybody could wander in.
Can't be the one from 3 days ago because that was the one that I was in.
No, it was literally like 2 days ago.
Oh, maybe she took the stream down because it's
Yeah,
not on our channel.
she never let it go up, I don't think. Because as soon as they started talking about it, I went looking for it, and it wasn't on her channel.
Oh, well, that's might be why I can't find it.
Mhm.
Yeah, in Doorknob Head, I would agree. I think the N word has nothing to do with skin tone, it's an attitude. Because
What?
I've met some people who were as white as I am that I think you fit the stereotype that people use that for.
I disagree on every single level. Every level. Like
Okay.
that's literally just a way to make black people feel like less than human. And because it's a colloquialism for black people now, has nothing to
Yeah.
do with non-black people using that term in any capacity.
Yeah, one, that's, I understand that that hasn't been my
I
life
mean-
experience, so I'm not really one to speak too much on it.
I mean, that's just what what you just said, and I'm not saying you're using it in this manner, but that's what
How dare you?
racist white people use as an excuse in order to try and use the word. Is they say, "Oh, I don't mean it to mean about black people. I mean it about a specific type of person, and anybody can be that type of person." They're just trying to put their foot in the door to get an excuse to use the word, and then exclusively use it against black people. That's my opinion on that.
Like when I tell somebody get back in the kitchen where you belong. I was actually talking to chefs, and this woman just happened to be in front of me. Like that's not even close to being accurate or true or what you actually meant. What you actually meant was you're trying to degrade women. You know what I'm saying? So that word applies to all people who are lazy or ignorant. No. That's some 1970s after 100 years of using it in a very specific way. Revisionist history.
Like I grew up being told that word wasn't a racial slur, that it described a specific kind of person. And then I went and I actually looked up the word, and it's like, it doesn't say anything like that. That's just an apologetic to get around, to make people look less racist for using the word. I'm not calling them that because they're black. I'm calling them that because they're lazy.
Yeah, people who work for fucking hundreds of years and never got paid.
Oh, excuse me.
Lazy.
Yeah.
I don't know how hard you want someone to work for free, but fuck out of here.
Well, and they're doing the same thing now, that they're worried about people coming up from Mexico and stealing their jobs, but they're saying how lazy Mexicans are. So which is it? Are they lazy or are they going to take your job?
No, the thing is like, if you believe Mexico is sending rapists and drug dealers up here, but at the same time you're worried about them taking your jobs, what the fuck kind of jobs do you have?
Yeah.
And that's one thing that's always boggled my mind is like, as much as a certain wing of the legislature wants to decry the plight of poor farmers who are losing jobs because of immigrant workers, which isn't how it works at all. The immigrant workers are hired by farmers.
Yeah.
Why aren't y'all going after the farmers? Why are you hiring people who don't have? Like, you guys always want to deport somebody, and you want to send somebody back home, but what are you doing to the people who are hiring workers?
I agree. There should be serious penalties for the farmers or the business owners that hire them.
You're right. Like, if that's the case,
yeah,
then leave the people alone because they've done nothing wrong. They've applied for a job. They should have been told no. They weren't told no. They were given a job. The job took fake Social Security numbers that's on the business. That's not on the persons.
Yep. Yeah, and that's the businesses that hire anyone, who doesn't have the proper paperwork to be paying taxes. They're the ones that should be taking the burden from it.
Yeah, because I haven't seen one of those. I haven't seen one news story about CEOs going to fucking prison for hiring illegal workers.
Well, to be fair, the CEO isn't the one doing the hiring, but at the same time, I
Whose
get.
company is it?
Well, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I'm saying at the same time is that you can't control every aspect of a company.
That's your
That's
job
why.
as a
That's
CEO.
why you have employees
Now,
that do.
so
Yeah.
that's not necessarily your job as a CEO.
Well,
though, right?
I agree with Mikey that, you've got several levels of management, but isn't the CEO supposed to know what each department is doing?
No. When you form a company and you form your articles of incorporation, you set up the guidelines as to what each individual person at their different levels is responsible for, and whatever's in those articles is what you're responsible for. So there's no universal, this is what a CEO does. There's sort of like rough idea, but like it depends.
That sounds like plausible deniability for people who
No, that's
damn well what's going
anytime
on.
you start a company, you do this, whether it's a corporation or a nonprofit or whatever. Like you set up essentially like the responsibilities and duties. So like if you have a chief financial officer, what are their responsibilities and duties? Probably has something to do with finance, but it depends on what that is, depending on what type of business it is, or like an operations director or a CEO. All of them have, like a CEO is just a chief executive officer, right?
I hear you, but what are their duties? And if their duties don't entail making sure that the company is operating within the legal parameters of the judicial system of whatever province or state that they're in, that falls on somebody. And we can't say it's the hourly guy.
So their duties might be to attend certain meetings, to manage the people directly underneath them, to go over certain reports, to do certain PR type things. But if there's a failure on the people beneath them to report an issue, it's not necessarily up to them to know that issue is there, right? Like,
I'm not saying like if someone is the CEO of like a grocery store and then someone leaves the grocery store and they don't get their bag of groceries, they go straight to the CEO to solve their problem. But if there is 500 people hired at a plant and the CEO has no answers for it. The plant manager has no answers for it. The shift manager has no answer for it. The hiring manager has no so do we just keep going
one of those people would be responsible if it was in your job description.
Hold on. So then it just falls down to the hourly guy that trained them. He was the one that was supposed to like where do we draw the line of who's supposed to be the one that says the company is abusing people for labor?
It would fall on
nobody.
No, the answer is it would fall on the hiring manager because they're the person that accepts social security numbers, IDs, and all that jazz. And then it's their job to check those things. If they check those things in a faulty system or in an unethical way, there's no way, there's not necessarily a strong way for the manager above them to say, oh, hey, you hired 500 people. Did they all check out? And the hiring manager says, yes. It's not the manager above his position responsibility to sit there and go through all of those files and verify that. That's what the person who told him they all checked out, that's what his job is. If he's not doing his job correctly and he's breaking the law, that's on him.
Yeah. Now, ultimately, you may have liability as CEO to like fix the issue, or it may damage your company and you may be hurt financially because of it, because of somebody else's actions. But you wouldn't be the one held legally responsible. It doesn't mean that there wouldn't be any consequences for you, but it's like if it was illegal, it wouldn't be you going to jail, but your company could get fined.
I think they should go to jail.
Who?
Who?
Uh, the higher ups should go to jail. If people are if people are getting deported for these kinds of things, then it can't be just the hourly person who hired somebody.
An hourly person doesn't hire.
Yeah.
Hiring is done by a salaried member of management in most instances,
In most
unless
cases.
it's a personal business, in which case.
Okay, hold on. Before you go in, I misspoke. Even if they're salary, they're not making CEO bucks.
But they're the ones that broke the law.
Cool. Who's their
So if the cops busted in and they caught, I don't know, the
Janitor.
like they caught like the head logistics person snorting cocaine off the fucking desk in their office, the CEO doesn't go to jail for their transgression, right? Like, it's just not how it works.
Okay, but we're all in this sphere that the person is there for one day. But it's never for one day. These people work there for years and years and years, and people take advantage of their labor for years and years and years, and then they are finally caught.
Yep.
And then it's like, well, I have plausible deniability and I'm not actually responsible because that's actually someone else's department. It's like, no, bullshit, dude. You knew.
And that might be the case in certain circumstances, but there's a due process. There's a system for a reason, right? It's a flawed system, but if we didn't have layers of protection, it would probably be worse.
I don't know that, even though it is flawed, which I agree with, I don't know that the deportation of immigrants is the answer for them working at a company and getting caught for it.
Yeah, no, that I don't disagree there.
I think if anything, if someone works at a company for 5 years and then they get found out to be illegal, well, obviously they're just a hard worker that just wants to be in this country. They should stay and fucking box up homeboy's desk and his home and move him to fucking Guadalajara, and he can go live down there.
Yeah, but the problem at that point isn't that they hired somebody. At that point, the problem is that person was deported, and then we need to address the deportation laws because there's the source of your issue.
Yeah, I mean, deportation laws have nothing to do with the company that hired a person.
Okay, but the problem also, though, is if somebody's working there who doesn't have a social security number or a green card, then the company was not paying taxes on that worker.
Yeah,
so somebody at the company had to be aware of that the taxes were not being taken out properly.
It depends. If you are a contractor, then the company doesn't handle your taxes. It's your responsibility to file your own taxes and take out the appropriate amount, right? It's the whole difference between being an employee or a gig or contract worker.
Yeah, and unfortunately, companies are using that too often as a dodge, that they're not hiring employees, they're hiring everyone as contractors. And
oh yeah, it's definitely being used as a dodge.
Yeah, it's being abused very badly.
That way they don't have to give health care to their employees that work 40, 60 plus hours a week, and they can just kind of pay what they owe.
That's not an issue with the company. That's an issue with you guys should have free health care.
Yeah, well,
I mean, think about it this way. You're annoyed that you don't have free health care. I don't think it's unfair for a company to be annoyed that they have to pay for other people's health care when it should be free for them. Right? Like, now.
But those same companies also refuse to actually dip or pay into a system and pay.
I agree.
Like we won't get a VAT tax ever.
Well, you might if you have an Andrew Yang in there.
Well, that ain't gonna happen. So we're not gonna get a VAT, and companies are so obsessed with making pennies compared to the billionaires that they won't take care of the people who are literally fighting for pennies to pay their mortgages and heating bills. Like people are. This is America, and people are still freezing to death on the streets.
Mm-hmm.
Shit's wild. Like the level of inequality is just ridiculous.
Oh, you'll get no argument from me on that.
Yep, no argument.
Which is why I'm moving to Canada.
Exactly.
Well, that's why I've been trying to get Canada to just annex the upper Midwest. I can't afford to move, so I just want them to take over the section of the country I'm in.
No, I'll bring you with me. Don't worry about it.
Hey, I kept asking if somebody would give me sanctuary if I paddle my canoe across Lake Superior.
Actually, I don't know if it's still active. I think that it is, but there was a little zone in Montreal that if you cross and say that you're a refugee, you'll automatically get taken in regardless. The Canadian government just opened it up as an open border area.
Oh, I'm just waiting to see how far Trump can get this religious stuff, and then I'm going to go to Canada and be like, I'm a political refugee.
That's kind of what I've been worried about. Is just there's too much crap that's getting pushed through Congress that, is not serving the general public at all.
I'm not a fan. I hate all this shit. Like everything about it. And the fact that he's now into this like super crazy religious Betsy DeVos kind of white, what's her last name or her first name? I can't remember her name. His Christian advisor.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
Like it's just he said 2 Corinthians. He hasn't read the Bible in fucking a billion years, if he has ever read it or cracked it open.
Yeah, no, I don't think he has any strong religious beliefs. I think it's just showmanship.
And pandering.
There's no way he does. Because if he did, he wouldn't act the way he does. Because even fundamentalist Christians, a.k.a. Mike Pence, even they wouldn't do the same bullshit that he's on. He doesn't even know what his base claims that he knows. He has no idea.
I don't know how Bub's. But apparently, it's knowing where Bub is. So you know what he said? Fluffy white bullshit is falling from the sky again.
Yeah, we got a couple inches here today, but we're supposed to be getting a lot more.
Where's Bub at?
He's in Ohio somewhere.
Oh, good. It already passed me then. I'm in Chicago, so I'm like, oh, shit. Please don't be in Iowa.
No, what you're going to get hit with is what's going to be hitting Iowa today is then going to be coming east. It's coming out of the Rockies. And it's going to be across Iowa tomorrow, and then it's going to be hitting northern Illinois and Wisconsin the next day.
I feel a cold coming on.
Oh, come on. You can do better than that. You gotta reach in there deep.
Oh God.
That was a real cough, actually. I've been sick.
But Dexter needs me to take care of him.
Oh, it's a cute cat. Looks like George.
Dexter, look at the camera. Don't look away. Look at the camera. Look at it. Look.
I can't get over this clip of a guy like ninja fighting with his corgi.
I have epic battles between me and my pets on a day-to-day basis.
Let me see if I can.
Oh. I never fight with my cat. I think he's Canadian because he's always apologizing and he never does anything wrong.
Purple. Purple. You share my screen?
Okay.
He better be Canadian because we've got like a trademark on our stories.
Oh, dude, that's me when I get home from work.
Oh, it lagged.
He's sleeping right now, but that's me and Zero every time I get home from work. He's like, your training has not been adequate. I'm like, fuck you talking about, man? My training's on point. Then we begin. And then he fights me.
Of course, it doesn't want to keep going.
Yeah, I'd have a puppo if I actually had a yard, but I don't think it's fair to have one in a small apartment like this.
You don't need a yard. You just need a little bit of space to go for a little bit of a walk.
There we go.
Yeah, I feel guilty about keeping the cat up here.
I couldn't do that. I'd be afraid I'd accidentally punch the dog.
The dog is attacking him. He's just moving his arm, and the dog is biting the arm. That's what they do. You don't have to do shit to the dog. The dog's going to bite the shit out of you.
Oh, yeah. I've played with dogs like that.
That's the game. Oh, yeah, for sure. That's me all day.
Mikey, that was powerful. Somehow you've given Hans the cold in Norway.
You're welcome. Oh, you're in Norway. Hey, Skald, mate. Skald. Skaald. Which is cheers. One of my best friends is Norwegian, but he lives in Sweden. And he, like, McGinnis is really talking me into fucking Canada right now. But if Canada was an option, Sweden was definitely on the menu.
I've actually been learning quite a bit about that area by reading a webcomic called Scandinavia and the World.
They have a king still.
Yeah. My mother's whole family is Finnish. I'm the 4th generation in this country. But even when they came here, they kind of stuck to their own community. So my mother was the first one who married outside the Finnish community.
See, everyone thinks I'm fucking crazy and I'm fucking just I yell about shit. I don't know anything. Hans knows what's up. Skull, homie. Yeah, I can't type that A because I don't have that keyboard, but he knows. Oh, where does Yartan live? Let me look at my Google Maps one more time.
Yeah, the Scandinavian languages have 3 to 5 of each vowel. You need all those little accent marks on them.
Yeah, you got to put a different number on each vowel.
Yeah, you need to have the umla and the upla.
Sweden, there's Sweden. And
I have a friend that lives in Denmark.
Umia.
Well, do we still have one in the side chat there? T in Danish was with us earlier.
Oh, I haven't seen anything from them in a while.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, they said they were having breakfast, so they probably had to go to work by now.
Yeah, Hops is who I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
U-M-E-A with a circle above it. However you say that. Umia?
Umlaut.
That place. That's where my homie. Well, he lives somewhere not far from there. It's like 50 miles from there. That's where he wanted me to move to Sweden. And I was just like, yo, that's like a million miles away from here.
Okay. Han says that that's pronounced as the O in Lord.
Umyo. So he knows, you know where I'm talking about. It's like the third biggest city in Sweden. And he's in Norway, so he knows what's up.
Yep.
Norway and Sweden, their languages are different, but similar enough that the languages are similar enough and their children are educated enough that they both speak both languages. Kind of like how I wish that Americans spoke Spanish, because why wouldn't you? But there's
Yeah, well, and it's American schools are somewhat unique in that in most of the industrialized countries, the kids have 2 or 3 languages by the time they're up to middle school.
not here. Fuck them.
Nah, here you go. Just gotta speak American.
Planet America. The fucking people around here, I swear to God, they think they live on planet America because they can drive 200 miles and never see somebody who doesn't like them, doesn't look like them. They think they live on fucking planet America. The only things that affect them are the things that are right in front of them. Fuck everybody else. Doesn't matter what happens into the oceans or the climate or other countries. It doesn't matter because they've never left America. They don't plan on leaving America. If they want to go on an exotic vacation, they go to Hawaii. No, not even Hawaii. They go to Florida. That's tropical. That's a tropical destination for them, is Florida, which is still within the borders of the country. They won't go to the Bahamas. They won't go to Jamaica. They won't go to Curacao, Antigua, Barbados. They won't go to Europe. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't know anything about what people other places do. They won't go to Canada. Like, they don't do anything except for complain.
So, but the kind of person that you're talking about couldn't afford to do those things even if they wanted to.
Oh, yes, they could, because they have an F-350 on dualies.
I have no idea what that means.
An F-350 is a giant fucking pickup truck with 2 back tires on each side.
Oh.
Like, they have money because they make a lot of money and they don't live anywhere that is expensive. So they have money and they could save to do things to better their lives by traveling the world and seeing what other cultures do and how they get along, but they refuse. They could afford it, but they won't. If you can afford to go to fucking Florida and spend all your money at Disney, you can go on a cruise for fucking 14 days and see 7 different countries.
Fair. That's my next vacation plan.
Oh, I'm saving money right now so I can buy something shiny and take my girl on a cruise and do that whole thing.
I want to go on a cruise that goes into the Caribbean. There was a specific place that I wanted to go.
Antigua?
No.
Anguilla?
I'm gonna have to look it up because I forgot. It was a turtle place in the Caribbean, and I have forgotten its name.
They're all turtle places.
I know, it's so stupid. I forgot.
Well, at this point, the only trip I would think of that is even remotely a chance that I could afford it in the next few years would be just going up to Alberta to see the Royal Tyrrell Museum.
No one wants to go to Alberta.
That's where all the racists live.
But
yeah.
but the Royal Tyrrell Museum is on the Canadian border side of the Badlands, and they're supposed to have the largest collection of mounted dinosaurs anywhere in the world.
Yeah, fuck that. So what I'm gonna do is throughout 2020, all of my Patreon money is going to go to a slush fund. And I'm going to use that slush fund. I want to take 10 people on a cruise.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dave, you're not coming. No, I'm just kidding. Dave's definitely coming. But I want to do a cruise with people who would have never had the ability to go on a cruise. Purple, pack your bags.
That would be cool.
And it's not going to be anything extravagant. Like you guys are going to have like regular ass state ass rooms or whatever. Then I'll get married. I'll get married and fucking have my own like honeymoon suite or whatever. But I just want to do a cruise, and I want people who are influencers who haven't been on a cruise to go on a cruise.
Mikey's gonna show up with a captain's hat and a paddle boat.
Who's ready for the cruise? I just got my fucking Nintendo Switch. I'm at Mario Party. Everybody paddle.
Hey, even a paddle boat on the Mississippi River, that could be fun.
Why the fuck would I was born on the fucking Mississippi River. Fuck the Mississippi River.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it would be great. I'm just saying it would be a fun diversion.
That is where I am. It's like, hey, you know what would be really fun? Your childhood bedroom. No, that's boring. We're getting out of here. We're leaving the country. We need passports. We need luggage. There's going to be free food, free drinks. That's where I'm at.
Oh. Yeah, I've never been able to aim for that, so I just don't think that way.
I know that there's other people that I could get involved. You know what? So it's 2020, and this is 2020 Mikey Famine. I got myself a notebook. I'm organized. I got 2 binders, a new dry erase board. I've reset up my whole setup. That was a bad turn of phrase. I added a leaf to my dining room table, which I've been using as a desk, so that my fucking TV fits on here, and me and my girlfriend can eat dinner. Oh, it's going to be a whole new me. I'm getting shit done this year. So let me see here. 2021 cruise.
Well, my only ambition has been to get out of this town, which it looks like I'm finally going to have a chance to do, but I'll probably need help just for that.
So I'll probably only get to pick like 6 people. She's gonna pick 4, and it's gonna be boring ass people. So
Doorknob said somebody did the New Year's resolution thing.
he smited me for that.
Okay. Can I adjust now? No. Calm down. Worldwide Atheist Cruise. Why not?
How much?
Excuse me.
No, it's not. So I'm looking back through the chat. No, this is 2019, I was a little bit more passive because I was trying to get to know everyone. I'm like building bridges, and I don't want to come off too abrasive. How motherfuckers know me? I'm in here now. I'm a staple.
Hey,
So
Dave.
now I'm going to be fucking more abrasive.
You gotta be yourself no matter what.
Yeah, but I can scare people off. So
I have to be me. No one else is qualified for the position.
I'd like to apply for the position of purple. Oh my god, someone just fell down a flight of stairs.
Mikey was passive ever?
Y'all don't know me. Like David knows me. I've been very passive with y'all. I've been very meek, to say the least. All right, so here we go. So we got 4-night Bahama and Perfect Day cruises for $341. So that means we'd only have to raise.
No.
Like, yeah, cruises are fucking dirt cheap right now. We'd only have to raise like $4,000 to get the airfare and us down there.
Yeah, well, that's why the other part I was going to ask about was where is it leaving from?
It's from Florida, so I mean, honestly, we could all fucking Greyhound it down there. It doesn't really fucking matter. But you're not too far, so I mean, we can meet halfway, and I'll fucking drive down there, leave my car for a few fucking days.
Well, we were trying to work out something like that for going down to Faithless Forum, that we were kind of seeing if like 3 or 4 of us could like meet up in Chicago and drive down from there. But that's not happening this year.
I want to see the books on stuff like that before I start going to it.
What do you mean?
Who makes what?
Probably almost nothing. The
Probably would make sense to us, but I'm skeptical.
Because
Who makes what? Let me see.
Well, Holy Kool-Aid is, one of the main organizers of it.
They only charge like last year. I think it was $25 to get in.
Yeah.
Okay.
They got hotel deal to get people cheap rooms for the time. Of course, I don't think they could do anything about airfare. I think all of the speakers either funded their own flights and hotel, or they were sponsored by members of their community to be there.
What that got to do with how much the organizers take home?
Yeah, well, okay, I can tell you because I used to help with organizing the Con of the North Gaming Convention.
Mm-hmm.
And, that was all volunteer run. And even with charging like, $50 each for the weekend registration, the convention is self-sufficient. Anything that winds up being made just goes into the fund for planning the next year. But, nobody's getting paid anything from that. And I think they're getting close to 1,000 people a year at $40 to $50 each. And they're not making any money off of it.
How the hell do you throw a party? How many people go there?
I think it's getting close to 1,000 people now.
So it costs $50,000 to host 1,000 people.
Yeah, for renting all the hotel space for 3 days, considering the number of rooms they need for that many people. And I'm not
Oh,
talking about
okay.
sleeping rooms, I'm just talking about all the meeting rooms.
So the people don't even have somewhere to stay. So it
No.
costs that much for. It only costs $12,000 to rent out Soldier Field in Chicago. I'm confused. Something right? That math don't add up. That's why I was like, oh, $50. Okay, that must be a multi-day kind of comfort.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 3 days.
Okay, so 3 days, Soldier Field. I don't know. Somebody makes money off that. I'm just saying it as me. I ain't never been there. I'm not associated with it. They're associated with it. My opinion is not theirs. Somebody's making money off of that.
Well, I haven't been involved with the planning part of it for quite a while, but I don't really think anybody's getting paid for it. That is one that, yeah, if I wanted to ask a couple of people, I probably could, get into the books for it and give you a list of the expenses if I had a while to research it.
I mean, maybe security costs are wild and I just don't know about it or something like that. You know what I mean? But it just sounds like a lot of money for just a convention hall for 3 days.
Well, like I say, what they're doing is it's a bunch of small meeting rooms. That they actually wind up having a couple of dozen meeting rooms, for different events taking place at the same time.
Let me shut the fuck up. Maybe I'll do it too.
Yeah, and then I know there's a lot of other expenses just as far as, printing up the booklets and everything and the advertising. But I don't really know what all the money gets spent on.
Spend on something.
Grand Cayman. That's where I want to go.
I thought you said it was a turtle place. Cayman's
It's
a crocodile.
Yeah, okay, Purple. It's a rescue on the Grand Cayman Islands. And that's why I've been quiet for so long, because I was so irritated I couldn't remember the place's name. I dug and dug and dug and dug until I found the video naming the place.
I found a Voyager of the Seas, Sydney, Australia, 2-night tour.
Oh, Australia would be cool.
$193.
What?
This is what I'm saying to people, and no one listens to me. Like, they're giving away cruises at this point. Like, I can't get a hotel in Australia for fucking $193 for fucking 2 nights.
Yeah.
I can be on a fucking boat for 2 of those days. You probably have to fly.
But where does it? Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You've got to fly someplace and then.
Right, but you wouldn't even have to like that is cheaper than the hotel fare.
Yeah.
Right.
I went to fucking St. Louis on Halloween for my little cousin got married. That was fucking $190 with a $50 fucking deposit on the minibar that we never touched.
Yeah, well, even when I've gone to Minneapolis, just a hotel room in Minneapolis is $120 a night.
Yeah. And that's boring. That's Minneapolis. There's no tropical islands and turtles and fucking
Yeah,
beaches. There's nothing to do there.
yeah, not
No.
much as far as tourist stuff.
Not as much as the Caribbean. And they're
Yep.
offering you a fucking cruise ship with all the food and drink you can fucking want.
Yep.
For under 150? Oh, I'm there. I'll live on that fucking boat.
Yeah, I didn't realize you could get them that cheap.
They're giving it has gone down every year since I went
Yeah.
on the cruise when I was like 17. And I'm like, I'm gonna go next year. I'm gonna go next year. I'm gonna go. Well, you know what? I plan on proposing soon, and I plan on us eloping soon. So I'm in the fucking market. What y'all got for me? Cruise lines, Amazon, whatever y'all are fucking doing, listening to every fucking conversation I got. Can you put some advertisements into my shit about cheap cruises, please? Everyone gets mad about that shit. You just got to use it to your advantage. Like if you can't remember the name of something,
Prenup in order.
yeah, 1000%. She's not getting fucking a drop if she fucking leaves me. Not a drop.
Man, the amount of people that get offended by the concept of having a prenup is ridiculous because it's really there to protect both people.
Yeah, I've never had enough money to worry about anybody getting anything from me.
What do you think about
Hey,
that?
no, it's not about the money you
About what?
had.
Sorry.
It's about the money you might even possibly have in the future.
Pirate Kitty, what do you think about prenups? And should people get prenups? Uh-huh.
She's muted herself. She may have stepped away for a bit.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh. Yep.
Yeah, and I can see the point for them. Because you really don't know how things are going to develop, 5 or 10 years down the line.
You don't know how things are going to develop 6 months down the line. Let's be fair.
Yeah.
Like I can't have my girl coming home from work every day with a white substance all around her face and in her hair and her clothes torn off of her for months, and she's like, just a great day at work. And me like, yeah, if we ever break up, you can have half my shit. Like that's not happening. No, we're signing a prenup.
Well,
What do we think
outside of my
watch?
last one, the 4 relationships I had before that, I was winding up raising somebody else's kids. So,
Well, don't do that then.
No, the kids need good mentors and role models, so that's fine.
Yeah, but if you don't want to do it,
Oh,
well, not anymore.
there you go.
I didn't mind it much before, but I'm too old for dealing with little kids now.
So, what you guys are talking about prenup? Sorry, my boyfriend needed me to handhold him through getting his W-2.
Oh, geez, you're saying mean things. I hope he has a prenup.
I said boyfriend, not husband.
not clear.
Hey, he's got a plan.
So, what was I being asked? I went to answer and had to walk away for a second.
What is your stance on people getting prenups, and should they get prenups?
I don't see why not. I mean, if you've got stuff and you have prospects, it's probably a good idea. But I don't think normal people need it.
Why not?
Well, there's not enough stuff to be bothered with, and I think not enough income, in my opinion. I mean, if we're talking millions of dollars between the two people, yeah, you probably should get a prenup. But if we're talking about regular people working, living paycheck to paycheck, there's nothing to split at that point.
that's even more reason for a prenup, because some people will do the whole, oh, well, we might be divorced and you might not have a lot, which is very little, but I'm going to take a certain percentage of it forever.
Mm. I mean, you have to look into what exactly a prenup is then.
It's an agreement for how to handle things if there's ever in a situation. And the other thing is this: when somebody gets together, maybe they have nothing, and maybe they acquire a whole lot of something after the fact.
I mean, I think anything acquired during the marriage is marital property and should be split in the event of a separation.
What about
The
boyfriend?
prenup says, sure.
Huh?
What about boyfriend girlfriend?
Well, probably not, because you haven't made a legal commitment to each other.
If you've lived together in the same space for a certain amount of time, you're considered common law.
Not if you're in a state that doesn't have common law.
That's fair. I don't know what states have what for that.
Mine doesn't.
Orla makes a couple of good points in the side chat there. What if you end up having a kid? What if she becomes dependent on you because of a disability? What if you start a company and she becomes a housewife to support you?
Prenups can be revised.
Yeah. Well, I have always supported the idea that marriage should not be until death do you part. That marriage should be done on a 3-year contract with options to renew. I actually think it would reduce the divorce rate, because people would get the idea that, you can't go and neglect somebody once you're married. You have to keep working on it so that they'll want to renew it when it expires.
Yep.
Because I think there's way too much of that. Too many people have the attitude that, once they've got the marriage license, they don't have to really think about the relationship anymore.
For sure. I agree with that 100%.
So yeah, I don't see a reason not to.
Yeah, well,
and
especially if you're in a position where you'd be buying a house together, yeah, there should be, some agreement for what happens to major assets like that.
What
Hold
happens?
on a second.
So if me and my girl got married and then we broke up, who should the house go to?
Well, that's what you need the prenup for, is to spell out who gets to keep the house,
no one gets to keep the house.
I think no one
should split evenly.
Yeah, I think no one should get the house. The house should be sold, and then someone else gets the house, and then we just move on from there.
Well, or have something for an option for one of you to buy out the other one's share. Of course, it depends at what point it happens at, because what's owed on the mortgage could sometimes be worth more than the value of the house. So that's the other side of the prenup, is what happens if you're in debt when you split up? Who pays off the debt?
Orla brings up another good point. Sold and split unless kids, then whoever has main custody. Who gets custody of the kids? Or kid, if there's one.
That usually is determined by a court system at that point.
So the woman gets the kid automatically.
Yeah, pretty much.
At least 9 times out of 10, yeah.
Which I've never understood.
Yeah.
And I'm raised by a single mother.
Yeah, it's just a sexual stereotype that it's automatically assumed that the woman is the primary caregiver. Even though that had not been the case, even when they weren't my kids.
Which is a bit sexist, I should say.
It is.
Yep.
Where they just naturally assume the woman needs to just take care of the child, and then just I assume find another man to make money, because like traditional relationships or whatever, like you're just gonna find someone else to bring in the money while the woman stays home with the kids. She could just find someone else to bring in the money to take care of the kids. Like, that's just weird to me. I never understood that.
Yeah, it's a messed up system.
Yeah, it's just based on outdated stereotypes. Because the court system was set up that way, way back when that was just what everybody accepted, was that the woman was going to be the housewife and the man was going to be the breadwinner.
Yeah, my girl makes more fucking money than me. We both work fucking, I mean, between the two of us, 100 hours a week, not to mention drive time. So we both work, but we work on opposite ends of the work spectrum. Well, not opposite. So she's first shift and I'm second shift. We'll probably need childcare for maybe 3 or 4 hours a day.
Well, and that's in the longest relationship I had. She went back to doing regular office job, and I was the one who was arranging my schedule around when the kids, would get out of school each day. So, Morley says it's statistically true that the woman will be the primary caregiver, and yeah, statistically that may be the case. The problem is the courts need to get better about looking at individual situations.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've decided that me and my girl can never break up.
Good luck.
Oh, she's stuck with my punk ass forever.
Yep.
Sucks to suck for her. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and call the night. Purple, David,
Okay.
Kitty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, we should probably just shut it down here then. So,
I'm ahead of too.
yeah, thanks for coming for the chat.
Yeah.
Had a bit of lively discussion there.
spice it up.
So, either you have anything you want to plug?
Everyone watching already knows me, so y'all know where to find me.
Okay, well, if in case there's somebody watching that doesn't, you want to drop a link for your channel?
I will post that now.
You should just promote your bone spurs.
Yeah, so in case anyone tries to send me to the Middle East to fight people that I don't know, I have mad bone spurs in all of my feet, hands, elbows. You can get them in the back of your head, I saw.
Yep.
Off that little hook on the back of your back.
I mean, that's why we've definitely all been calling you Mikey Bone Spurs Famine for years.
Since I was a child.
Like forever ago.
Since I was a wee lad. They've always called me old Bone Spurs.
Yeah, Hans, it's only 3.5 hours now.
Want to talk again? Yeah.
Now, normally at the pub, I would just open up a couple beers with the bone spurs on the back of my neck. It's really gross, but it doesn't hurt. You know what I mean? It looks like it would hurt, but it doesn't.
Okay, well, we'll wrap it up for the night. So thanks everybody for coming. We will catch you all later. But I'm going to end the broadcast here.
Bye-bye.
Later, everybody.
Bye-bye.